And I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna ask, why are you continuing to defend Eisel now that he's calling you a liar and trying to make you look crazy? Look, I never defended Eisel, I've just exposed the narc's lies about him. Just because Eisel is a piece of shit doesn't mean it's okay to lie about him and accuse him of all kinds of things without any evidence. And I've gotten a lot of criticism for putting Eisel in such a good light in my videos. And I actually thought about having a little disclaimer saying something like, just because I'm sticking up for Eisel in these particular situations doesn't mean that I agree with everything he's said and done. But I thought it seemed a bit passive-aggressive and unnecessary, so I just left it out. Now, Eisel is not a very popular guy in the vegan community, but you have to remember that this was the exact reason why the narc went after him. He looked like an easy target. And Eisel has now, like in the past couple of months, been like prodding me with a stick from afar.
And what they'll do, they'll prod you with a stick from afar, they'll do things to annoy you, and as soon as you react, they're going to use that against you. They're going to talk about it, they're going to criticize you for it.
Anything looks familiar there? I mean, we've been through this in part 4 of the unmasking. Yeah, so he like made a little tweet here, a little comment there, you know, just passive-aggressive bullshit to try to annoy me. He has been wanting a conflict for a long time now, but I just ignored it. But recently, he made a video discussing my video, an update from YouTube headquarters, where he was discussing whether or not I was lying in that video, which is fine, like I don't really care about that. But let me just make one thing clear, I didn't lie in that video, but I didn't really make any claims in that video. All I said was that people have been asking me if this was my work, and all I have to say to that is that I'm in San Francisco, which was true. I'm at the YouTube headquarters, which was true. I have a document with a list where the narc is violating YouTube's terms of service, which also was true. And I showed a post from Facebook where I was talking about going to YouTube headquarters if like our reporting didn't work. So we had actually planned it, but what happened was that before or once we got to San Francisco, his channel was terminated. So like before we got to any chance to talk to YouTube. So we decided to just make a troll video to cause some narcissistic injury instead. But what my problem is with Eisel's video is that he said, NorVegan is certainly capable of lying. I've seen him lie myself.
And NorVegan is certainly capable of lying. I've seen him lie myself.
I've seen him lie myself. Very like vague remark. Like, how can I defend myself against that comment? It's just all I can say is, no, you haven't.
Why are we members of a movement where middle-aged people, not teenagers, so lightly, so casually call each other liars?
So I sent him an email asking him for specifics because I'd like to defend myself against that accusation. And the first thing he did was to just flat out lie to my face, saying that he hadn't accused me of anything. So I quoted him, and what he did was to just reply saying that I was trying to create a conflict there, but all I wanted to do was to defend myself against his accusation. Then he sent me this long email claiming that I had said all kinds of things that was just complete bullshit. Then he also claimed that I was worse than the narc, which, like, with everything that has come out about the narc, that is just stupid. So I just told him, so basically your accusation is based on your other accusations, because he has accused me of saying all kinds of things all the time in our email correspondences. This is called gaslighting, another tactic narcissists use. A lot of our email correspondences are actually just him accusing me of saying things I haven't said, and then me defending myself against his accusations. So he basically called me a liar for refuting his gaslighting tactics. So I just told him I'm gonna release all our emails publicly to clear my name, and also that, you know, I'm not gonna waste my time with someone who calls me worse than a narc. That's just stupid. So, you know, don't contact me again unless you want to issue an apology. Then things got really absurd. He made a public apology video claiming that I had requested this of him. That's another lie. Like, why would I want a public apology for him calling me worse than the narc privately? It doesn't even make sense. And he claimed that I got so offended of him discussing whether or not I had lied in my video, an update from the YouTube headquarters. like I had already told him in the email that I had no problem with that. The problem was that he said I've seen him lie before. So I just sent him another email telling him all of this, saying that he did not apologize for what I wanted an apology for, and that he has given me no reason to not publish our private emails. Then he made several more videos trying to convince his viewers that I'm a liar, like going through our emails, but he's not actually showing my email. He's just saying that, oh, his email was so deranged and boring, so I'm not gonna go through it. But what he said was this and that. Why do you think he doesn't show my email? It's pretty obvious what he's doing. And when he actually do show my email, he is like trying to change the content of my email with his words, it seems. Like he's telling you that, oh, he said this and that, but then if you actually pause the video and read the email, you can see that there's a disconnect between his words and what I said in the email. And then what he does is that he shows his own email where he is telling me what I said, but he's just showing his own gaslighting. But it makes it seem like I've said it in the email he doesn't show. Now, the really sad part about this is that the only reason we are in this situation is because Hannah spoke up when the narc was accusing Eisel of his own crimes. That's the only reason we're in this situation. Hannah spoke up for Eisel, and she had no reason to speak up for him. Like Eisel have been criticizing Hannah like he has been criticizing everyone. So she had no reason to do so. She just did it because it was the right thing to do. And Eisel has been harassing her for a while, and we asked him several times to can you just please not send Hannah any emails? She just want to forget this whole community. And when he didn't stop, Hannah told him that she's had really trouble with this whole public thing, being shamed and being lied about, and she was suicidal last year and stuff. And she told him please just not show this email publicly and just don't discuss me on YouTube. What he then did is that he's showing this email. How disgusting can you be? You know? So I can now confident, I've had this suspicion for a good while. I think I'm gonna just publicize all our emails so you can see it yourself. But I've been and I've actually told him this myself several months ago, saying I'm really unsure about you because you have some really strong narcissistic traits. And I think this is why he wants so bad to get back at me and have been wanting to create this conflict, so he have an excuse where he can make it seem like he's the rational person and I'm insane. And just to be clear, the email he showed from Hannah, it's a 6-month-old email because she has received a lot of messages from people being concerned and stuff but she's in a much better place now. She's completely disconnected from the whole YouTube thing and she's not following anything. But it's really sad how Eisel is doing to Hannah now what the narc has been doing since last year. So I can now confidently say that Eisel is a narcissist too. He's a cerebral narcissist. The narc is a somatic narcissist. Somatic is it's the body. They care about the physical thing and they like to abuse physically. But cerebral narcissist, it's with the brain. And they like to they're more into psychological abuse.
Cerebral narcissists. These are narcissists that are very driven by not so much status. They might not drive a Porsche. They might drive a Subaru. They're more of they listen to maybe NPR. They have multiple PhDs. They are very focused on IQ and kind of who they're reading at the time.
The bookish intellectual.
They're very intellectually. That's where their intellect is where they get their ego fed from.
Many professors praised me as brilliant. I've had professors say to me at length that they believed I was a genius, sit down with me and talk to me this is something they've got to explain to me for my own good. A great many of the professors who talked to me were, if anything, somewhat desperate to become friends with me. Interests in ethics, philosophy, ecology, politics. I know it may be hard for you to relate to. you feel that these people are idiots. It's not just a little bit too dumb. To me, it's shockingly stupid. It would be hard to force myself to give a rigorous critique. They're not good looking. Period. So the quality of education available to me was absolutely abysmally terrible. I would have shipped out to Afghanistan rather than stay in that university program. It was that bad. People like me really suffer because that's how terrible the quality of education was for me. Many of my university professors flattered me, and in many ways I'm intellectually inclined. Just the fact that I existed was an unwanted challenge to the whole system, no matter how polite I was. I remember a journalist for a very famous newspaper, one of the most famous newspapers in France, and it's somewhere on the list of the most famous newspapers in the world, got my email, got in touch with me, and interviewed me in Cambodia. I did have a couple different professors who told me that they thought I was a genius, and each of them approached it in a very different way. But this professor, friend of mine, said to him, look, you're basically behaving in a jealous way toward this student, towards Eisel. And I think you just got to admit to yourself that this is, one of the most brilliant students you ever had. This guy is basically a genius.
Their intellect is where they get their ego fed from.
I'm not sure if I'm going to publish all the emails, but if I do and you read through them, you can see that he's constantly gaslighting me. And gaslighting is a form of psychological abuse. So I know people will just say, oh, everyone who goes against you is you just gonna call them out for being a narcissist. And it can certainly seem that way, but just think about this. It's estimated that 3 to 6% of the population are narcissists. And if you add antisocial personality disorder to that, psychopaths and sociopaths were up to 10% of the population. That's 1 in 10, 10 in 100. So there's more narcissists in the vegan community, I can promise you that. And especially being YouTube, I'm sure the concentration are even bigger here. And when I say narcissist, I'm really meaning like cluster B personality disorder. I'm not sure whether these people are like sociopaths, psychopaths, or narcissists, but as they say, all sociopaths are narcissists, but not all narcissists are sociopaths. So that's why I just say narcissist. And I'm just gonna say it like Vegan Cheetah is a narcissist too. Now here's the thing, narcissists are very good at spotting each other, and when they do one of two things. Either they just keep away from the other narcissist, or they try to destroy the other narcissist. And if you look at Vegan Cheetah, the narc, or the main narc I should say, and Eisel, they've been trying to destroy each other for a long time. But what's interesting now is that the three of them have come together and are trying to destroy me, or trying to destroy my credibility at least. Now, the irony is that in part 1 of the unmasking, I used Ask Yourself as an example of someone who just throw the word narcissist around on someone who is a narcissist. And the example I show, he is calling Eisel a narcissist. And Ask Yourself actually replied or made a response to my part 1. And he was extremely aggressive towards me that I didn't really understand at the time, because I just used him as an example. It wasn't like meant as a shot at him or anything, although he claimed it was meant as a shot at him. A lot of people just throw the word narcissist around all the time. But now, looking back, I can see why he was so aggressive, because Eisel was doing to him what he's doing to me now, just completely misrepresenting and manipulating a situation. So I can understand why it was infuriating for Ask Yourself to have me like, oh, here's a guy just throwing around the narcissist word.
Mercy out of goddamn nothing.
Projection much? Eisel, I corrected your initial misstatement of my arguments. You responded with a whole video. Then I refuted you, and here you are yelling at me and calling me a racist. You're all the fuck over the place. You are the one expanding this discussion into new areas. I made a simple video, you expanded it. You're the one creating a controversy out of nothing, not me. I'm just defending my public image from some delusional narcissist on a rampage.
There's all kinds of garbage on your channel I could debate.
Calling some of my content garbage without evidence, standard behavior from you, Eisel. My content is fantastic. I put tons of time into it. My channel is growing. I will overtake you on YouTube.
And now the sun went down, so I guess I'll record the rest of the video tomorrow. But that's all I'm gonna say about the whole Eisel situation. I've had a few people say that, oh, you have to respond to Eisel because he's hurting your reputation or whatever. I don't really have time for him. Like, I can't take on two narcissists at once, so I'm gonna focus on the main narc. It seems like most people see through Eisel's tactics already. So what Eisel really did was to expose himself, trying to make me look crazy. And he also proved that I haven't been lying. Or at least anyone with minimal critical thinking skills can see that. So thanks, Eisel, I don't even have to respond to you.